long before kingdoms rose and fell, long before nations even existed. A sacred place was chosen on earth. According to Islamic tradition, Masjid Al-Aqsa was first built by Prophet Adam. Just 40 years after the Kaaba, he raised its first stones as a place to worship Allah. Generations later, Prophet Ibrahim came to this blessed land. His son Prophet Ishaq and grandson Prophet Yaqub honored it. Finally, Prophet Sulaiman transformed it into a grand and glorious sanctuary. With shining walls and magnificent courtyards, it stood as a symbol of pure worship and a light of guidance for all mankind. Jerusalem, or Al-Quds, became the home of prophets. Prophet Dawood ruled here, making it the capital of his kingdom. His son, Prophet Sulaiman, not only ruled but also built a place of worship where angels themselves were said to join in glorifying Allah. Here, Prophet Zachariah prayed for a child, and Allah blessed him with Yahya here. Maryam grew up under the care of Zachariah, and here she received her miraculous provisions. And here, Prophet Isa, Jesus, walked among the people, healing the sick and calling them back to the path of Allah. Every step of this land carries the memory of a prophet. Among the three mosques most honored in Islam, Al-Aqsa holds a special place. The Quran itself mentions it in Surah Al-Isra. Glory be to him who took his servant by night from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid Al-Aqsa, whose surroundings we have blessed. This verse ties Masjid Al-Aqsa forever to the heart of Islam, declaring it a place of blessing, not just for Muslims, but for all of humanity. The most sacred night came when Prophet Muhammad was taken on Isra wal Miraj. In a single night, he traveled from Mecca to Masjid Al-Aqsa, riding the miraculous Buraq. Inside Al-Aqsa, he found a gathering unlike any other. The prophets of Allah, Adam, Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, and many more, all waiting. The Prophet Muhammad was chosen to lead them in prayer. In that moment, the leadership of all prophets was symbolically passed to him. From there, he ascended through the heavens, meeting the prophets once again, and finally standing before Allah. That night made Masjid Al-Aqsa the eternal bridge between earth and heaven. When the early Muslims prayed, they did not turn toward the Kaaba, but towards Masjid Al-Aqsa. For 16 to 17 months in Medina, their hearts faced Jerusalem. This shows how deeply Al-Aqsa is rooted in the story of Islam. Even after the Qibla was changed to Mecca, Al-Aqsa remained a part of Muslim faith, not only in prayer, but in history and in the soul of every believer. But Al-Aqsa's story has not been without pain. In ancient times, the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar attacked Jerusalem. He destroyed the sanctuary and exiled the people. Centuries later, the Romans invaded, burning it again to the ground. They even tried to erase its memory, but no empire, no matter how powerful, could erase what Allah had made sacred. Believers always remembered it, always longed for it. In 637 CE, a new light entered Jerusalem. The armies of Islam, under the leadership of Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab, surrounded the city. But this was no conquest of blood. The Christians of the city peacefully surrendered, knowing the justice of the Muslims. When Umar entered Jerusalem, he came not as a king in gold, but as a humble servant of Allah, wearing simple clothes. He refused to pray inside the church of the Holy Sepulchre, so Christians would always keep their church safe. Instead, he prayed nearby. He then went to the site of Al-Aqsa. What he saw broke his heart. It was filled with garbage, neglected for years. Umar himself bent down, picking up the filth with his own hands, cleaning the place where prophets once stood. A small wooden mosque was built. The revival of Al-Aqsa under Islam had begun. Later, under the Umayyad caliphs, Al-Aqsa was transformed into its majestic form. Caliph Abdul Malik Ibn Marwan built the Dome of the Rock in 691 CE, golden dome marking the place where the Prophet began his heavenly ascent. His son, Al-Walid, constructed the grand Masjid Al-Aqsa. For centuries, Muslims traveled here, scholars taught here, and kings visited here. It was the jewel of Islamic civilization. But in 1099 CE, darkness returned. Crusader armies swept into Jerusalem. They slaughtered tens of thousands of Muslims and Jews. Blood filled the streets, even inside Masjid Al-Aqsa. The Holy Mosque was desecrated, its halls turned into stables and barracks. The Dome of the Rock was renamed and decorated with Christian symbols. For nearly 88 years, Muslims wept for their lost sanctuary. Then came Salahuddin Ayyubi, a man whose name still inspires Muslims. After years of uniting the Muslim lands, he faced the Crusaders. At the Battle of Hattin in 1187, his victory opened the path to Jerusalem. When Salahuddin entered the city, he remembered the massacres of 1099, but he did not take revenge. Instead, he opened the gates of mercy. Christians were allowed to leave in safety. The city was purified with tears and prayers, not blood. On a Friday, the Adhan once again rose from Masjid Al-Aqsa. The mosque was cleaned, carpets laid, and the Quran recited. For Muslims, it felt like paradise returned to earth. For centuries after, Jerusalem flourished under the Ottomans. Sultans repaired and beautified Al-Aqsa. Scholars gathered in its courtyards. Worshippers came from across the world, and peace reigned. It was one of the longest periods of stability in Al-Aqsa's history, but change was coming. In 1917, during World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapsed. British forces entered Jerusalem. That same year, Britain issued the Balfour Declaration, promising Jews a homeland in Palestine. This was the beginning of a new struggle. Slowly, Jewish migration increased. Lands were bought, then taken. The seeds of occupation were being planted. In 1948, the world witnessed the creation of Israel. For Palestinians, it was the Nakba, the catastrophe. Over 700,000 Palestinians were expelled from their homes. Villages were destroyed, families torn apart. Jerusalem was divided. West Jerusalem was under Israel, while East Jerusalem, including Al-Aqsa, remained with Jordan. But peace did not last. In the Six-Day War of 1967, Israel captured East Jerusalem. For the first time since Salahuddin, Al-Aqsa was under non-Muslim control. From that day, Palestinians have faced oppression at its gates. Soldiers with guns stand where worshippers should stand in peace. Restrictions are placed, and violence often erupts. Yet, the call to prayer never stopped, echoing against walls that have seen centuries of struggle. Today, Masjid Al-Aqsa stands as more than just a mosque. It is a symbol of faith, resilience, and unity. Every day, Palestinians risk their lives to protect it. Women, children, and elders form human shields at its gates. For Muslims worldwide, Al-Aqsa is the soul of their history. It is the place of prophets, the site of miracles, and the test of our generation. Masjid Al-Aqsa has outlived empires. It has endured fire and blood, and still it stands. Its story is not just history, it is destiny. The question is, when the next page of this story is written, will we be its protectors, or only its spectators? Like, share, and subscribe to keep this story alive.